all. Like, they don't know what a crick in the neck is. They don't know what, like, a fucking Charlie horse is. They don't know what any pains are. The baby is so damn unbothered with this world that it can just roll over and go to sleep right after laughing hysterically. And that's what I aim for. This isn't weird. What type of cold is that? What are we talking about? I assume that most people do not like to hear themselves talk. Like, not like the way that other people hear them, like through a microphone. If you did come across someone that was the complete opposite, it would sound something like, oh, I love hearing myself talk.
Yeah.
And then what does that person sound like? You know what I mean? What does the person look like that's just like, oh my gosh, I love my voice. I love listening to myself talk. I could listen to myself talk all day long. Like, you don't want to be that person.
No.
So I think it's better to be on the other side where you just
Okay,
it's weird. Yeah, when I first started I hated listening to my voice for like 60 episodes. Like the first 60 episodes I did not enjoy at all listening to my voice.
Yeah.
But Jordyn, thank you for being here. As I already told you before, I recognize the level of peculiarity that is asking someone to come on a podcast. But it's so cool because it's sort of like this weird superpower. Because I've met so many people and had so many discussions on here that I would have never had otherwise. Mm-hmm. But it's like someone listens and they're like, oh man, I would love for you to have a conversation with a friend of mine. And then they'll put me in touch with that friend. The friend will come over, we'll do a conversation.
Yeah.
But if I didn't have the microphones and the mixer and the laptop and the light, if there was no podcast, it's a very different thing to just be like, hey, go hang out with my friend. Like, just go sit down and talk to him. Like, that's a weirder request than, hey, go on this guy's podcast. So simply because I have these microphones, I can, more easily get people to come and hang out and just chat, which is really all it is I'm doing anyway. Yeah. So it's cool. So I respect you for coming here and just doing something that is weird and particular and peculiar.
No, it's interesting. I'm excited.
What made you do this?
Like, say yes to coming here?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. It's new, I was like, why not? I mean, I don't have anything against it.
Yeah. I did want to start this off with something because we've been talking about a lot of different relaxing elements.
Oh, yeah.
Right, in life. And before you got here, I had this that Brookstone shoulder massage thing you see right there with the two straps. Mm-hmm. My dad gave me that. And then I also have this this weird thing here that turns on, this vibrates. It's weird, but it's for your feet to stand on and like create blood circulation on your feet. So you roll your feet on it and you know what I mean? It kind of like massages your feet. Mm-hmm. And I promise this all leads somewhere. I wanted to ask you, because you do plan on having a big home. Mm-hmm. If you got to have one, or at least your very first personal professional, such as a personal nutritionist or a physical fitness trainer or a chef, a personal chef or a personal chauffeur, something like that, what would you go for first? Like, what would you want on your very large estate first? This is going to give me some semblance of an idea of maybe what some of your values are here.
It could go two ways. That's the thing.
Oh, well, let's do it. Let's do two. Because there are a lot of different personal professionals that you could hire.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you could do.
If I could...
Financial advisor.
Yeah.
There's tons of stuff. So what would you do?
If I could choose someone right now.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. Oh, that's a good way of looking at it. I guess just...
That's what I was
just
thinking.
like right now, if you could have one.
Right now?
That's a good point. Oh, that's a good question. That's a good way to reverse it. Right now. I think I might still do the same. but I'm gonna let you go first.
I don't know the person for it. I don't know the name, but like a professional, not like financial advisor, but something like that. Someone that like a professional rich person, someone that can like guide me to like how to do investments and how to get into like properties and all that. That's someone I would want.
Okay, that might be
That
some
sense.
it might be some sort of financial advisor. Yeah, that's kind of like maybe a mix between a financial advisor and just like a life coach.
Yeah.
Just kind of trying to show you
A successful life coach.
a successful one. Yeah, a life coach is kind of interesting, like bag to be in, because like they legitimately just tell people like what's best for their life, like how. I'd love to know how that goes. Like when you meet a life coach, I'm assuming it's just like getting a physical fitness trainer. Like you go there, you kind of tell them what it is you're trying to work on, and this person is so good at life that they're just like, okay. I actually know how to do that. I actually know how to get better at that thing that you're trying to get. And you teach someone how to do life better. That's interesting.
Yeah, like I want someone, because right now I'm looking at a home that I am very interested in. I want someone that can guide me, like tell me how much I should put down, tell me how much I should rent it out for, like things like that. Yeah,
you really want to know the market. Like you want to make sure you're not getting gypped out there and buying for way higher than you ought to be.
Exactly.
Yeah. What's necessary in the proper, I mean, for you personally, what is important for you in a community? Like what would you like to have by? Because I know a lot of people are like, I want to go live up in the mountains, and I think I would like to have a cabin in the mountains, but I also want to be able to get to a store, a hospital, there's like certain things I want to get to with ease. And unless I have a helicopter along with that cabin in the mountains, I don't know if that's going to be like a smart move in that regard. So what's important to you? Like, what do you want to have around you?
Important to have land. I need land. Like,
what are you trying to do? You want the 4-wheelers?
Yeah, no. I mean, because right now I live on 31 acres of land. I'm actually kind of a redneck.
Okay.
If you went to my side of the area, you'd be like, okay. But yeah, no. So I just want a lot of land because I have a lot of equipment already at home. So
wait, what sort of equipment?
Skid steers, tractors, 4-wheelers.
What's a skid steer?
Skid steer. Have you ever heard of like cat?
Yeah.
Caterpillars.
Yeah.
They're the orange.
Oh, okay.
You see them in construction. You'll see like excavators.
Okay.
But skid steers are smaller and they've got like the tracks.
Yes.
And they just move
slowly.
like
the conveyor belt track sort of thing. Got you. Okay.
Yeah. So we already have one of those.
What do you do with that? What are you doing with that?
Everything. Literally, like last weekend.
I know nothing about this lifestyle, so like, what are you getting one of those things for? Like,
so last weekend we were tearing down trees on our lane. Easy for that. It pulls things.
Do you tear down trees? Have you torn a tree down?
Yeah.
Whoa. What do you do? So you just like how do you tear a tree down?
So what my dad and I do is I get on the bucket. I get on like the claws. It's the part that like moves up the bucket.
Right.
I stand on it. My dad lifts it up in the tree, and then I wrap a chain around the tree. We hook it to the cat, and then we pull the cat, and then the tree comes down.
Okay, and then what do you do with the land now? Like, you want the tree for lumber. I'm assuming you guys use lumber.
They were dead. They were dead trees.
Oh, okay.
That's why we took them down, because it was on our lane, so we didn't want them to like fall in the car or anything.
Right.
But we have a wood stove, so we cut up all our wood and we sell it, or we load the wood stove. That's our source of heat in the house.
And also your source of cooking. So you cook stuff and often have just wood smoked meats.
No.
Oh, no? Oh, wait, why not?
Not exactly. I mean, we have an oven.
Oh, you have but you do use the wood stove. Like, you use it to cook things ever? Wait, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm okay. Okay, no, this isn't.
Okay, so
I'm out of the lifestyle, clearly.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So you know how you have a heat bill?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Basically, it just hooks into our heating, our HVAC. That's all it is.
Okay, I understand what you're saying now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm thinking of like a wood grill.
They're thinking of an old wooden. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that.
Okay.
Now this thing's huge, and we pack wood in it.
Okay.
Yeah, and it heats our house.
Okay,
but we have ovens, microwave.
Yes. So I wasn't trying to imply that you guys just like live back in the Stone Age. Yeah. Shit, you guys got fucking cats. I don't have that. Like, that's awesome. Damn. Yeah. All right, what'd you call it again, or what?
The machine?
Yeah.
It's the full name is Caterpillar, but it's a cat.
No, but you called it a certain thing.
Skid steer.
Skid steer.
Yeah, okay. That's one of their machines.
Okay, so you need land. Because you have a lot of equipment, you want to continue to do these things, tearing down trees.
Just love having land.
Yeah,
you can just 4-wheel on it and just so much.
Bonfires.
Oh, we have tons. Yeah, things like that.
I think that there's something that will remain timeless about sitting in front of a fire with friends and loved ones, and just talking shit and telling stories, and whatever happens in front of the fire. Like, I think that sort of feeling will remain timeless.
No, it's a good experience.
I need one of those in my life this summer.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Do you not do it a lot?
No. See, we're coming from two different places. I used to go to places like that, like parties that people would throw, but no, it wasn't something that I was just accustomed to doing on the regular. Huh. Yeah, so that's something I need in my life this summer.
You need that. It's fun. It's fun. You just talk, do s'mores. It's pretty nice. Watch the stars. It's quiet.
Oh yeah, watching the stars.
That's my favorite thing in camping.
Why is watching the stars? I have
just the whole experience, camping and s'mores, and it's quiet and the stars, all that. All together.
What kind of chocolate
fun.
Do you use for the s'mores?
Oh God.
This is important. This is a very important question.
Hershey's.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Not the salamander stuff. Sorry.
I don't even know what the fuck that chocolate is. Wait, it's probably made. Is it not made like that in the kitchen or something? No,
it's not.
Oh, this is some shit that's ordered and got off of a truck. Oh.
It's a fancy one.
Okay, so we got down to the financial advisor thing. So that was like. Was that one person? Because you said it could go one or two ways.
Okay. That's one way for me to just become successful. But if I am at that point, 20 years from now, I am successful. What's the first thing? I feel like if you're rich, you'd say, like, a nanny, but I don't want that. Like, I do not want that.
A nanny?
Yeah, no.
Man, I've seen that nanny business, man. It's wild when it just seems like the parents have no idea what's going on with their child. Like, the nanny is the parent for real. And the parents just have I've like seen it in front of me time and time again.
Oh no, I see it at work all the time. And I mean, hopefully someday those kids aren't like kind of brainwashed from that or something, like that doesn't impact them, that they don't have a close relationship with their parents and the nanny.
I think that's like a common theme, I think, especially amongst a lot of super wealthy, because you do end up with a nanny a lot of the time. So all the time. Like a whole fucking wait staff, they'll have all these personal professionals that we're talking about. The reason I bring this up, because again, this all came off of the talk about relaxing elements in life. So I have this love for relaxation. And I've been getting really, really good at it recently.
I hear from your nightly yoga.
Yo, man, it's so serious. And so I have like one of my favorite gifts is this little Asian baby. I'll send it every now and again. It kind of means like that I'm really happy and I got great sleep or something like that. I don't know. The gift could be used in a couple different ways. But either way, it's this little Asian baby girl, and she's laying on her stomach and she's smiling the biggest smile. And she's so happy. She's like laughing and like falls onto her side and immediately like knocks out, goes to sleep. And it's the cutest thing in the whole world. But I'm looking at this gift and I'm like, do you understand what it's like to be, just imagine you were laughing as hard as you possibly could. Like someone told a joke and you were rolling. And then you fell down because you were laughing so hard. and you were so comfortable on the ground that you went to sleep. Do you know the difference in like brain activity from laughing hysterically to being knocked out? That says to me that these babies, there's no stress in their bodies at all. Like, they don't know what a crick in the neck is. They don't know what like a fucking Charlie horse is. They don't know what any pains are. The baby is so damn unbothered with this world that it can just roll over and go to sleep right after laughing hysterically. And that's what I aim for. That's the whole point of this. That's what I aim for. I feel like kindred spirits with koalas.
Koalas?
Yep. If you don't know much about koalas sleep for about 18 to 22 hours a day.
That's what you want.
And with the other 2 hours, they eat and talk amongst the community. And then it's just like waking up and being like, "Hey, bro, man, how was your sleep?" "Oh, dude, it's fucking amazing, man. Like, I'm just fucking, just eating this eucalyptus. What's going on with you, dude?" "Doing the same, man. Look, fucking life is great." "Hey, man, what's going on with you over there?" "Oh, doing the same shit, hanging out." And then they all just like, "All right, man, I'll see you tomorrow." It's just, that's a beautiful existence.
Yeah.
Because, man, they're just hanging out with their family, their friends, and they're just maximum relaxation.
Yeah.
And so that yoga that you pointed out, along with this little foot massager thing, with that shoulder massager thing, with whatever other elements, right, and components that we use. Yeah, man. I'm looking for a personal masseuse.
Okay.
Big on massages. I need round the clock massage work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's something I can't do for myself.
Yeah.
Like, I could learn how to cook more.
Mm-hmm.
I could learn nutrition a bit more. It wouldn't be like just hiring the best.
Yeah.
But I could learn those things. There are other things I could do for myself. But I can't massage myself. No. Like, I can't, you know what I mean? Like, I can't do that. So that's what I'm looking for.
No, I get that.
Maximum relaxation.
That is nice.
Yeah, so the reason I asked you though is because it's like, okay, like, where are our minds at? Because I'm thinking of, what could I have someone do for me to elevate my life? And I say personal masseuse. Clearly that's where I'm at. And then you're like, I'm trying to get to this money. Like, I'm trying to secure a secure future.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked you that. It's interesting how that came up.
That's interesting. Huh.
Yeah, it's just how it works. Just where you're at, like what you're thinking about right now, pretty much, is how it came up.
So do you care more about like physically being relaxed or like mentally as well?
I think both.
Yeah.
And I think that they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've said it on here before that when I really started stretching, long form stretches, like 5 minutes at a time stretch. Like, first what'll happen is you'll start stretching and you think you're stretching a certain muscle. Like, okay, I'm going to do this stretch for this muscle. And you start to stretch it. And the deeper you get into it, you start to realize that if you get into it deep enough, there's like another muscle that's going to connect and you're going to start stretching. You just have to get to like a certain point. And I didn't realize that before. But after stretching like that for over 2 weeks, I became a noticeably more pleasant human being. Like, I saw it in myself, and I noticed other people notice it. And I just thought, I wonder how much of people being an asshole is just like legitimately pent up stress in their muscles that if they stretched for just 30 minutes a day, that it wouldn't be there, or it wouldn't be there at least to the degree that it was. Again, just going back to that little baby that can just like laugh and then go to sleep. Like, that baby's body and mind is so unbothered. It doesn't know heartbreak and loss and financial worry about like, how am I going to pay my car note? This baby doesn't know any of that. It just knows being able to shit wherever it wants to.
Yeah.
It's going to have food brought to its mouth. It's going to get carried from place to place. baby's life is awesome.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get to. But that's but yeah, that's I just assume that so many people are going through so much mental stress, because if you're hurting, like your fucking neck hurts and you're just like, oh fuck, like my neck hurts, and you keep thinking about that, like mentally that's fucking you up. Like you can't do what you want to do because mentally you're thinking about the pain that's going on over here. So it's like it's all linked. And then on top of that, if you want to go the other way, maybe like there is no pain or like no bodily pain, but then you're dealing with a ton of stress or, you know, distress. And then the bodily pain comes because you've been so stressed out that your body picks up on that.
Yeah.
On that constant rumination of just how bad things are. Mm-hmm. And then your body, the pain starts to follow and sickness starts to follow. And this isn't just me talking out of my ass. I promise I've read this stuff before, but yeah, it's like weird. So I'm super into both of those things.
That's interesting.
I think that's How do you fare with either one of those things?
I want to try it.
Yeah, but as far as just like pain or misalignment in any of those things, like how do you get good sleep? Do you suffer from like any sort of chronic pain in any area?
No, I don't have any pain.
That's awesome.
Well, I go to the gym very regularly, so I think that helps me, you know, stay active, you know, stay mentally sane. Because without it, I'd be crazy.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Have you like kind of gotten there and then realized, oh fuck, I need to go exercise?
Oh, yeah. No, I've been in like states of like mini depressions, and then I just know I need to get back to the gym.
And you can, that's so funny, and you can see like the cloud, like the dark cloud come. Like you can sense like, oh yeah, we're getting to that bad place.
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird.
Like what will let you know that it's happening? Like, is there like a certain type of thought that comes around, or is it like self-doubt, or like what comes over you where you're like, oh, I got to get out of this?
I know when I'm going down there because I start thinking more. I start thinking about like my past and like people that have hurt me, and then I get down like I just got out of a serious relationship, and I know I'm going down the bad path because I start thinking about that person more and how I was like, let's say, terrible in the relationship, whatever. And then I know like I need to get back to the gym to set my priorities straight,
right? Because
it helps me think clearly. And when you go to the gym, I forget what kind of, like, there's something in your body that releases when you go to the gym. I don't know what it is, but scientifically, like, they say it releases, like, happiness in your body.
Oh, yeah, just endorphins in general. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, that's a fact.
And stretching does the exact same thing as well. You know, it releases that. So.
Man, actually, you know, because we were talking about it, I'm getting much better with just knowing just the bits and pieces that I need to my life to just kind of coast and be in a pretty good just like base level. And marijuana helps immensely when it comes to stretching. There's just something weird about it, and I've heard this with other things, and I'm not saying that this is just for everyone. But it helps people get into like a certain zone sometimes. Like if you're not the type to get wildly paranoid and like you can just and you can just relax, it allows people to get in a certain zone and just kind of pay a little bit more attention to the thing they're doing. I've heard like Brazilian jiu-jitsu fighters smoking a ton of weed. Like, well, not a ton of weed, but just that like weed it's prevalent in that community. Yeah. And I'm thinking about stretching. And it's a completely different experience. Like if I smoke a little bit and then stretch, because I can feel every muscle just slowly stretching and like, and letting tension out. Like I can actually feel it in my back, and I know exactly what small micro changes and alterations I need to make in order to make it a little bit deeper or to go, you know, it's just, I think that health is a far superior experience than illness. It's just if you've ever been sick, oh my fucking God, shit's not fun. No. It fucking mucus running down your nose. You gotta keep sniffling and blowing your nose, and your throat hurts, but you don't want to eat any food. and you're tired, and it's too.
Yeah.
Maybe you have a cough going too, and oh my God, it's
draining.
You don't have no fucking body aches. Your body feels like it's gonna snap in half. Like maybe your feet hurt. Like you might have one of those things where, like right behind your eyeballs for some reason, it's like pulsating. Like you might be having a fucking migraine. Who knows? Being healthy is a far more experience. I mean, it's a far more superior experience, and you only ever really know that when you're sick.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh fuck, I gotta get back.
Yeah.
Like I gotta get back. I can't live like this.
Yeah.
Like this is the worst thing ever. So I take all of that pretty seriously. Like I know exactly kind of just like how much of what to do, like a couple of glasses of wine, or like at the euphoria stage. Have you ever had to take a like a safe serve or a tips alcohol training for anything ever?
No.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. There's a lot of interesting information when it comes to serving guest alcohol and over serving, like over pouring, all that sort of stuff.
Really?
Yeah. So you kind of like get to know how many ounces of what is considered a drink, what sort of effect that usually has on people, depending upon like how many drinks we're talking about. Usually between like the 1 and 3 range is like the euphoric place for most people. Yeah. Where if you have just a couple of glasses of something, you feel good, you feel it's a social lubricant, you feel like you can talk easier, all that sort of stuff. Then it's like 4 through 6, you start to lose some of your skills, like some of your motor skills, and you start to slur your words a little bit more.
Oh yeah.
You're starting to get foggy. Things are starting to get a little foggy. And then after like 6, that's when you're drunk, like where we're really drunk at this point. And so knowing that information, along with knowing the types of information, well, you would have to become acquainted with this, so it takes a little bit of time. But knowing how many milligrams in a gummy can I take, and at what time of the day, and what type of sleep am I trying to get, and all this sort of stuff. But all this sort of stuff aids if you get really, really good at paying attention to it. Yeah. So that's why I was bringing up the marijuana when it comes to stretching, because it just makes it a completely different experience, and it's so relaxing, and I get such like the breadth of my sleep has augmented. Like it seems so much more full and be like beautiful. Do
you smoke weed before you go to bed every night?
No, because that will mess with my sleep.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's like a certain cutoff, right? And then there's certain types of marijuana that we're talking about. So as far as, I'm usually a fan of sativas, because those are like sort of the wake you up, like stay up and be functional and do things type of marijuana. And then the other one, indicas, are usually they say indicas are in the couch. Like you're down, you're chilling, you're slumped, or you're about to go to sleep. But regardless of which one, I feel like if I smoke, when I wake up, there's still some little haze. Yeah. Like some very small haze, and I don't like that to be. I like to just wake up and be clear and ready to go.
Yeah.
So no, I usually won't do that before bed. But the gummies seem to work better than actually inhaling smoke.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So they're all very interesting. Someone told me the other day that they were like, "Yo, I fucking took a couple of gummies and I fucking tripped," and I was like, "Yeah." Edibles are a completely different thing than smoking weed. It hits your body completely differently. Supposedly, like your body interacts with it on a chemical basis completely different than if you were to smoke weed.
Interesting.
So that's why people have a completely different sort of experience when it comes to like eating edibles. Like people can feel like they can close their eyes and see some kind of fucking psychedelic, kaleidoscope effect, beautiful shimmery glass type of fucking thing in front of them.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean it happens. So I mean we talked about the love drug, they would call it, well, in a sense, shrooms.
The love drug?
Well, it just only in the sense that it is peace in a plant.
Yeah.
Like that's a good way of putting it. Peace in a plant.
Peace in a plant.
Peace in a plant. And it's funny, you were talking about staring up at the stars. Mm-hmm. And one, I feel like, well, why do you love that so much? Like just the staring at the stars. We kind of got through like the camping and the s'mores and all that.
Yeah.
But before I say what I'm going to say, like, what is it about looking up at the stars, if you can say?
I would say just it's like peaceful. It's slow, and it's like you look out and it's like it looks so small, but yet there's another universe out there, you know? Like you're looking into something that looks small but is actually huge.
That's interesting that you even look up at it as grand as it is out in the country or in the woods, and it still seems manageable to you. Like it still seems small to some degree to you, like knowing in comparison to how much more there is than like what it is you're seeing. There was this movie called Jungle that had Daniel Radcliffe in it, Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
yeah. I don't know how many people, like if you weren't a huge Harry Potter person, I don't think you would know this person's name.
Yeah.
But it's called Jungle, and it's about this guy. It was about a group of friends that kind of go out. I forget exactly what jungle it was, but they went out somewhere. They're like backpackers. They love traveling and just going and doing wild adventurous shit. And just long story short, he ends up lost in a fucking jungle somewhere in the world, very far from home. He's been led astray by this guy that had some weird intentions, trying to get him to go out there and find some weird, small indigenous group that no one's ever made contact with. Yeah. But he ends up getting lost. Okay. Do you remember this movie, or have you heard about this?
I don't know.
He ends up getting lost, and he goes through, I mean, they show you what I think is probably a decently accurate description of what the fuck would happen to you if you got lost in the jungle. Mm-hmm. And it's beautiful because you have fucking, I don't know, mountain lions, hunting him. Mm-hmm. And there are all these little insects you have to worry about. You have to worry about like food, like where are you going to get food, fresh water source. When are you going to start going crazy because you're just by yourself in the woods, in the jungle for forever. So then you start to see him kind of lose his mind a little bit. Mm-hmm. And there's this, somewhere towards the end of the movie, after he's just been beaten to complete shit. He's just gone through the ringer. He's gone through more than anyone we've ever known by this point. And he's like completely butt naked. He's muddy. He's dirty. He's beaten up. And he's looking up at the stars on this beach. And there was like a shooting star. And you get to see like all the greens and stuff in the sky, greens and purples. It was just beautiful. Mm-hmm. And he looked up and was just like, thank you. Like he vocalized that. He said, thank you. And I was looking at that scene like, it took this man getting his fucking ass whooped by this earth, by just strong earth, right? To realize like he was humble beneath the stars. And I actually said that earlier today. It's a new quote of mine, is one must be humble beneath the stars. Like when you're looking up at them, you have to realize, especially with everything that he had been through, you have to just realize how not shit you are. Just how small and insignificant you are in the vastness of the world. Yeah. Right? And how easily it will swallow you up. Mm-hmm. And with all of your pride attached to it. Yeah. And I think that it's moments like that mushrooms bring to people. I think that it's moments like that like, if anything, that sort of scene that they captured in that, when I think about people doing mushrooms, when I think about myself doing mushrooms, I think about getting closer to that space where you are just humbled and you bow out of the ego race. Yeah. And so I think it's absolutely like just beautiful beautiful experience to do. Yeah.
That's a really interesting perspective. Like, that's very deep. Wow. Huh. Here when I was on, I was like, oh, everything's so pretty.
I mean, that's cool too. I mean, you're just looking at stuff and you're just like, for you, it's simple. It's pretty.
Yeah. But it does. It stops and it makes you look and be like, wow, I never looked at that before. Like, I've never looked at that like I have before, you know? It's just,
what was that for you?
Like, let's say just the tree. I was like, wow, I've never actually taken into consideration how pretty this tree is and how, like, amazing it is until I was on shrooms. You know?
Yeah.
It was weird.
And that was you said a one-time thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I would have done it again. I wanted to, but, you know.
Circumstances change.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's something that a lot of people are using therapeutically these days. Like with people with white lab coats and stuff like that in facilities. Yeah, like people are doing, like people are really, I mean, you got to get to those places because it's not like we have one down the street. Mm-hmm. But they have places like that where they're really having psilocybin treatments and they're helping people with their trauma and stuff like that. Yeah, for sure.
I don't blame them. I do not blame them.
No, not at all. I'm trying to get my parents into it.
Really?
For sure. Yeah.
Have you ever done it before?
Have they?
Yeah.
No, but I'm there though.
Yeah.
I'm like right there. Yeah. I think I got them. And I'm really, really happy about that. Because you and I were talking about work the other day. We won't get into particulars, but it is important for you. You have big goals in the future. It is important to you to do something that you love doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and as of right now, at least what does that look like for you, or is there anything that you truly love to do, and you were like, if there's anything like I would do this because this thing aligns with who I am. Yeah,
no, absolutely, I do. I have something. My dad owns a renovation company, and so growing up, I always had to help him, and it just has created such a good impact on me. I actually can be independent. I know what I'm doing, all that. So I'm hoping one day here, God, in the next like 10, 15 years, I want to buy a home off, the market. I want to fix it up and sell it. So I want to be a fixer-upper. That is like the dream.
My dad does that.
Really?
Yeah, and it's great. I love being an appreciator of life. That's probably like my favorite thing to do. Mm-hmm. I would say that this is my favorite thing to do is just like to chat with people and just fucking hang out. But I love appreciating things. Yeah. Like I love talking to someone about something that they enjoy and like seeing their fucking eyes light up and like seeing like listening to them talk about that thing. I love that. And so for a long time I knew my dad did that, but I wasn't taking part in him doing any of it. Mm-hmm. And then there was one time where he showed us a house at one point in time and it was beat to fucking shit. Yeah. And then he showed it to us like 2 years later when he was about to put it on the market. Mm-hmm. And my mind was blown because I was like, oh, you're an artist. Like I didn't even some sort, like I didn't know. Yeah. From what it was to just this thing that was so futuristic and beautiful. And I think my little sister had helped him like pick out some of like the mirrors and certain tiles and stuff like that. So like she was involved in it. But it was just such a sleek modern home. It was so beautiful with stainless steel everywhere and these beautiful tiles. And I was like, this is not what this fucking looked like before. Like it looked like a crack house before. Yeah. So it was art. It was beautiful. I'd never, but that's not even, but you don't even see it that way. Like that's not even where you were coming from. You just like doing it. I love the process. Like when I go into any space, I look at it and I'm like, what could we do to this? What could make it different? What can make it pop, Like some people might look at like a, that house when you first stepped in, you're like, oh, this is terrible. I want to get out of here. I don't like this. I would have gone in that room and been like, this is what I want to do to make this perfect, Yeah. I don't see a disaster really. Oh. That makes sense. Yeah. You just, that's really,
I see
that's
a canvas,
cool. Exactly. That's what I was going to say. You see opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
how can we make this better? That's probably just that mentality is probably just good for you in life in general. Like, as opposed to just walking into things and just seeing like, oh, this is fucking shitty. You're probably just like, all right, well, what can we do to like get out of this state, to fix this thing?
It has a deeper meaning. Yeah, that's only one thing. But yeah, it's good because I look at life kind of like that with anything, with people, with jobs, anything.
And does that mean that you are like trying to fix, like people are fixer-uppers and you're like, all right, let me get you fixed up for a little.
That's not the intentions. I don't want to fix someone.
But do you take that role every now and again where you've tried to like fix someone?
I think everyone has. I think everyone's tried to make someone that they're not meant to be. Someone has, hope that like someone will change for you or whatever, But usually you can't fix people.
Yeah. No, you got just you have much better chance just fixing the house. just fix the house.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really cool. And all right, so that's what you'd want to do is be a fixer-upper, a renovator.
When I have the money, yeah.
Yeah, and what's really cool about that is you get to you get to be you.
Be my own boss.
You get to be you. You don't have to do any weird corporate games where you have to just like align with things that don't align with who you are and what your values are.
Yeah.
That's some of the hesitancy I have with the current space that we both of us inhabit. is just I mean, it comes down to like I can break this down to like emails. Email is a very interesting language because it is a language. When people start emailing in the corporate sphere, they're not conversations, right? Clearly, like it's an email, so you're just trying to send quick information back and forth.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have all the greatness and all the meat and potatoes that a conversation would have, right? But it's also not a text message that's usually pretty like cool and formal. I mean, not formal, informal.
Yeah.
Right? It's this weird in-between thing where, again, you're not trying to really hash out any details of any conversation. You're just trying to get information very quick from one person to another. But sometimes it takes a real conversation to have. And a lot of the times people are just looking for like, yeah, I'm on it. Gonna go get it done. Heard. Understood. Like they're just looking for compliance. That doesn't bode so well for someone that likes to have honest conversations about things. So it's like a weird hesitancy that I have about like the industry, right? Like the whole luxury hospitality industry. I just think it's a very interesting thing, and for you to be a part of it and really want to be a part of it, you have to have certain values, certain aspirations. And so if you just want to be able to be you, it's not for you.
No.
Like to really be you and to just like if there's really an issue between you and the person you're talking to, like you can really talk about it.
I mean, I think you could because you are like a manager, but me personally, no. I don't really ever like show my concerns or show people how I feel,
Yeah.
I'm afraid to. Managers bring energy into the room. So for you, you're at kind of a good standpoint. You can bring the energy into the room, create relationships, bonds with like your workers and things like that.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I definitely, that's just me in general. Like that's going to happen. Like, yeah, if I'm just around people, I'm definitely going to make bonds. Bridges will be built. That's a fact. It's just, again, I'm more so speaking about just the entirety of the industry, what it sort of stands for. And that is beautiful in its opulence and its excess and, the gold trimmings and all of that sort of stuff. It's fantastic. But there's also this veneer between reality, like the way that real people live and communicate and have exchanges, and what has to be done once you enter the luxury bubble. Like it's a different sort of experience in exchange that you're having with human beings than say what we're doing right now. This is what this is what it looks like when two normal human beings sit down and just chat and hang out.
Yeah.
See, so what I'm saying is, in your profession or your aspired profession, you'd be able to just be you. If you just wanted to fix houses up, you can just fix houses up, and you can call people and talk to them and just be you. You can just be Jordyn. You don't have to qualify any standards.
Yeah.
Any Forbes 5-star standards that doesn't come equipped with getting your house renovated. You know, you can still be professional and still be kind and all that sort of stuff. Yo, what's up? Jordyn, Terrence, Jordyn.
Hey.
But so it doesn't come attached to any of that sort of stuff. You can just really be you. That's what's cool about being a fucking entrepreneur and having your own business.
No, I get that. I feel like when you have like an alter like personality when you walk in there, you know, everyone's kind of fake.
Yeah.
You're not really yourself. You're there to please people and that's it. Like, at least for me.
That is that is the name of the game. Like that is the objective. Mm-hmm. Please these people that are paying for this thing. Yeah. It's sort of like we're blessed. Right. So first of all, let me put that out there. Like, because by no means am I saying that I'm not blessed, that I'm not grateful, that I'm not thankful, any of that sort of stuff. But it's so funny that we even have the conversations that we have. Like, instead of just, I have friends that came from Africa and many of other friends that I've known that have just come from other different parts of the world. And they came here clearly, for the opportunities, the American dream, right? For all that sort of stuff. Security for their for their future children, all that sort of stuff. Because maybe their country wasn't so hot back there. Yeah. And they don't think about, like, their mentality is completely different. They don't think about becoming or doing the thing that they love. What they would love to do is to be able to have a secure job with benefits that are going to be able to put their kids in the right place. Like, but we have, because we've kind of grown up here, we have a bit more of a privileged way of looking at things. So we have conversations about, well, no, we can be an entrepreneur. Like, we can make that work. So we're having conversations about the places that we're working not aligning with our values and then wanting to go, or just aligning with what it is we truly want to do, what we love to do, and then going off and doing that thing instead. In your case, that would be renovating. In my case, I would love to sit like this, and I would just talk to people all the time.
That's
just talk.
The dream.
I would absolutely love it, and regardless of if it brings money or not, this is going to continue to happen because because it's so much fun for me.
Yeah.
To just sit back and try to figure out like how you articulate things. Like the very first question that I asked you about, like what sort of personal professional you were like, it gives me some sort of insight into what it is you're looking to in life. Like, all right, I got another one for you. Say you're at a huge party.
Okay.
You know the host of this party, right? He's a really good friend of yours. And it's an absolutely beautiful party, like nails done up, you know what I mean? You're like jewelried out, beautiful dress, like you bought a $5,000 dress for this. You're going, it's like a Gatsby party. It's like one of those, just diamonds coming out of the fountain and people pulling up in Rolls Royces and furs and all that sort of stuff. And you're sitting in like the foyer, like as soon as you open the double doors inside the house. And there's fucking koi fish swimming underneath your feet in the floor. And there's just beautiful hedgery around and all sorts of shit like that, right? And then as you're speaking to the host, just call him Jerry. I don't know why. Just call him Jerry. You're talking to Jerry. The doors open up. And what or who walks through is your favorite color.
Okay.
All right. Now, we're personifying your favorite color. So your favorite color walks in the room. Now, don't tell me what it is, though.
So this isn't a person. This is just a color.
It's your favorite color, whatever that comes to your mind when you think Jordyn's favorite color.
Yeah.
It's walking through in like person form. Like it looks like a human, but it's really just a color. It's like a big silhouette of the color blank.
Yeah.
And it walks through, and then your friend says to you, the one that's throwing the party, says, "Oh, hey, I heard that this is a good friend of yours, like you know them very well. But before I let them in my party, I just want you to let me know like what type of person they are. Like let me know like what they're about." What would you say about that favorite color that walked in? If you could personify, if you could give like human descriptors, like, oh, they're funny or they're this or they're that, like what would you say about what this favorite color is?
I mean, if it's my favorite color, it's because it's bright and it brings like a happiness. It brings like a joyful side of me.
Okay.
That's something like that. Like this person's just happiness, a bubble of happiness.
Oh, wow.
Because you don't really know personality with a color.
So they're just a bowl of happiness.
Yeah.
So that's at the root of it. That's what your favorite color brings you.
You see it, and it brings back only good memories. Something like that.
Okay.
What is it to you? Like your favorite color?
That's you know what? That's so funny because I don't think anyone's ever asked it back. See, right now it's weird because I think it's still roughly the same thing. Yeah. So I was asked this question years and years ago, probably at this point, like 7 years ago. And when I asked the question, I felt like sort of an asshole after I answered the question, because then the person told me what the whole objective of them asking me the question was in the first place. So it's usually that we find ourselves in like our favorite things. As I told you before, I love that little gift for that little Asian baby and koalas. And I find myself in both of those things.
Yeah.
And usually people find themselves in, when they attach themselves to inanimate objects or animals or colors, they usually see themselves in that color to some degree, or they would at least like to. It may either be something that they truly feel like they are the color, or the color may be an aspiration of theirs. Like I wish to exude whatever I think that color says to me.
Okay.
So in this case, going off of that, this could also be completely wrong because it's not a 100% thing. You may either see yourself that way or would like to be a ball of happiness and would like to have people have good memories of you. Like when they see you, they're like, "Oh, hey, it's Jordyn." Like I feel good when I see her. Like she wasn't a bitch last time I saw, I saw her and treated me wrong,
Yeah.
Like they have good, like when they see you, and this is something that is important, that when people see you, there is maybe some small endorphin, right? Some small like dopamine rush. Like, okay, like this person's a good person. I have good memories of them. I have good thoughts about them. They make me feel safe, or like, whatever the case is. So the reason I felt like an asshole is because it seemed wildly arrogant after the fact. Because I was like, when I think of my favorite color, I think of relaxation. I think of like super fucking cool and smooth, and like if you're talking about them walking through the door, I imagine them walking through the door and they kind of like glide the way that they walk, like it's just like real fucking smooth, like they're in perfect rhythm with everything that's going on, and they're sort of like magnetic and mysterious. So then after they told me, "Oh, so that's how you see yourself," I was like, "Oh, I seem like a fucking asshole. I seem like the person that would have been like, oh, I love hearing myself talk all day long." Like those seem like slightly the same person, like just arrogant. But that's what I see to this day. The color is a very, maybe royal purple.
Okay.
Something like that, like a really deep kind of smoky purple. Like that's kind of what that's yeah. A smoke. I think it's called mauve.
Mauve. Maude.
Maude. I believe the shade of purple I'm talking about is called maude.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's
Maude.
yeah. So that's that. But anywho, I absolutely, I would definitely sit here and do this.
Yeah.
With just anyone, for the most part.
Yeah.
I would just have tons of people come on here and I would just do this. Yeah, because the point that I was getting to with the hesitancy or the discrepancy between values and that place is just that I really, really would like to be a regular human being.
Yeah.
Like a regular human being that can just like look at another human being in their eyes and just talk honestly about things. That doesn't come along with those sort of standards. Yeah. So that's the hesitancy there. But that's why I was asking you, like, what if there was like this one thing that you could chase after, that you could do? And what's great about it is that you have an extremely realistic, not to say it doesn't take work, but extremely realistic dream, which is important.
Yeah.
You can actually do that. Like that's actually in your future.
Yeah. I mean, yours is in your future too.
Yeah, but you have a father that like you can learn. You know what I mean? You have an up close, like up front, first row seat education to like what's going on. So you can really pick a lot of that stuff up.
Yeah. And
he may even serve as that financial advisor type of life coach thing that you needed too. Maybe not.
I don't know.
Maybe you need another. Yeah. He's not quite up for it.
No. Maybe someone else.
All right, we won't read too much into that one.
No. I mean, he's great with his money, but he doesn't know just like stocks and money and
yeah. What are you just looking to get into? You looking to get into some cryptocurrency or something? Are you looking?
I did get into that for a bit.
Okay.
And I made very good money. Mm-hmm. But then I got out of it. But I don't know. I feel like society like teaches you, when you're going through elementary, middle, high school, they teach you to live in the system. They don't. They teach you to. You need to go to college and spend $200,000. Then you get a job where you work 40 years until you retire at age 60. Like the government's teaching you to just be in, just like, I don't know, just, it's hard to explain, but I don't.
Well, you saying being in the system is a good part. Yeah. Just being another cog in the machine.
Exactly. That's what everyone is. Literally everyone's like just a number, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to live in the system. I want to be able to create the amount of money I want my own way and not have to retire at 60 and work 40 hours a week and go on vacation maybe once a year, things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, for you. Trying to take a few vacations, huh?
Yeah.
You're trying to head on down to Honolulu.
Yeah.
What else you have in your arsenal, like in your mind right now as far as vacations with this big future of yours? You snowboard, correct?
I do.
So would you want to go somewhere like that you could do that on a big level, like on a big scale?
I mean, I do have a love for snowboarding. Do I want to do it like constantly? No. But I do I want to travel. Like I want to go to Japan. I want to snowboard there. I'm going to...
Oh, is that a big thing? I wouldn't know. Yeah.
Japan. I just want to go to Japan. Like I've gone to Canada to snowboard. That was an experience.
Yeah.
Colorado. I went there a few months ago, and then I'm going next year. Like, I don't know.
And did you snowboard out there? Or did
I
you
did.
just? Oh wow! Yeah. So which one? I mean, maybe it's stupid to say which one is better. They're probably maybe just different between Canada and Colorado.
I would say Canada.
That was a different sort of experience. Why so? First of all, their cold is different. For real. Like, isn't that that's different?
No, it's freezing.
Like, what are you guys sitting in up there? Like, what type of cold is that? What are we talking?
I think I was in -11 when I was there, but yeah. But
and is the wind chill big? Do they have like a lot? Oh, you're up on mountains. The wind must be. Oh, fuck.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, no matter what you wear, you're
It
not
doesn't
gonna be
matter?
warm. Yeah, I know, but it's
But you do
the
get
thrill.
sort of like specialty gear, kind of, right, for that? Like you have
we've
like
got
a
layers.
whole fucking suit with layers, yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't help. Like even in Colorado, it did not help.
Damn, but you feel good in it though? Like you feel, I mean, clearly enough to like keep your heart generating enough and like move around and be athletic and shit.
I mean, once you're on the board going down the hill, like it's like the adrenaline.
Oh yeah, nothing else
something
matters.
new. It's like a new run, new journey. You know, I'm not really worried about the temperature at that point.
Yeah. How long? You see, that's what I'm talking about. It's because you're just so immersed in the thing, like you're fucking snowboarding.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So nothing else is even really touching you. Like,
yeah.
That cold is an afterthought.
Exactly.
And that's kind of what I was talking about as far as the job, you know, whatever your vocation for life would be, or various vocations. It would just be, you know, for you want the money that you want to work, and you clearly want to take the vacations that you do. And I know you also want to be heavily engaged in it, like knowing that you love doing the thing and loving the process of it. What were you saying? Oh yeah, of the renovations, like loving the whole process of it.
Yeah.
And so, like that's the sort of job that you want to have, where you can sort of focus, like you're snowboarding, but you're doing whatever the other thing is. I mean, maybe it's snowboarding for some people, but it could be renovating houses, and you could have that same sort of focus because you really love doing the thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
So how long have you been snowboarding? And what can you teach me without being on a board? What can you teach me right now? What's a tip you could give an extreme novice?
Okay, well, first I started skiing when I was 2.5. My parents put
Holy fucking shit.
Yeah, my parents
That's
are really into
wild.
skiing and snowboarding, so I started when I was a little baby. And then I started snowboarding at 10. So
Would you like a refresher?
yeah.
So okay, so skiing at 2.
Yes.
What does that even look like? Like you're just going down like these little bit of humps and stuff, like skiing at 2.
Yeah, I mean, I was put in classes, so I had like little instructors, but I was a baby. I don't
That's
remember it.
great. I know, but did they take any videos? They should have took some videos.
There's stories. There's stories.
Snowboarding at
Of
2.
me just going down the hill. One time they lost me.
Oh shit.
I started going down the hill and they're like, Jordyn, stop. And I just kept going. And then I eventually like ran right past a tree and I like fell, but I was a kid. I
And
don't
this was the
remember.
age 2, 3, something like that?
I was probably like 4.
4 at that time?
Yeah. But skiing's easy. Snowboarding is kind of hard. Snowboarding's hard.
Why is skiing the easy one?
Skiing, because you're standing straight up. You've got 2 poles. You know, gravity kind of has you up already.
Okay.
And then you pizza with the skis the whole time if you don't know how to really ski. Snowboarding, you're
because
on a board.
pizza meaning that you turn your skis inward.
Yeah, and it
because
stops
you're
you.
stopping you. Okay, yeah.
Snowboarding's like you carve in the snow, and that's what makes you slow down. So if you just get on this board not knowing how to carve, you're gonna go straight down. And you're gonna
just keep picking up speed.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah, no, the first time I learned, I think I sprained my wrist, like, when I was 10.
Like the first ride?
It was like the first day I ever did it. I just kept on falling on the same wrist, and it was terrible.
But now you're pretty decent, I'm assuming. Like you're good. So now it must just be fun. Like once you're good at something, it's just fun, right? So
it is, but also at the same time, when you're going through that journey of learning and like the excitement of I just learned this and I'm picking up this, it's not the same. Like I wish I could go back in time, like 5 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, when I was learning how to snowboard, you know? Just being like, I don't know, it was just a type of adrenaline that I wish I had again. Because now it's like, all right, I've been doing this for so long, over a decade, like, it's the same thing, you know?
You don't have that fear aspect anymore.
No.
Like you don't, yeah.
And sometimes you kind of need, fear's kind of exciting.
Yeah,
sometimes.
well, yeah, it most certainly can be. That's why, because I'm listening to you talk about snowboarding, and I know that there's, like, for a while, been this video of this motherfucker surfing like 100-foot wave, and you know, you look at a guy like that, and you just think, because you see the wave, and it's just, I don't know what it would be like to be on a piece of wood surfing that thing. Just, but I imagine this same type of like focus, like you have to have, because my thing is, I think to be good at anything, sort of like the color mauve is in my mind, right? That kind of like real suave, smoky purple that just kind of goes through. To like really be good at anything on that sort of level, like you have to be the fucking wave. Like you can't try to anticipate it. You can't try to resist it. Like you have to be the wave, because nothing else can be in your mind. If you're riding a 100-foot wave, that's death for you. It's easily death for you if you do something wrong and it comes crashing down. I can only imagine the amount of pounds of water that is on a human being. I would never wish that upon any human to ever have to feel that.
Yeah.
But I imagine that there's just, like, I can only imagine the sort of fucking Zen state that these guys are in. And so I'm wondering, when you're out there on the snowboard, like, it's gotten kind of boring to you in a sense. Or, I mean, maybe not boring, but at least not as lively. Like, it's not. Yeah. So maybe you do need something more challenging, maybe.
It is the only I get very excited when I go new places. You know, I'm on a new slope. That is so fun to me. But when I'm going down the same slope constantly,
oh, that's what it is.
There's no more excitement anymore. But like when I go, so a terrain park is basically just a slope and it has bunch of jumps, rails. When I go in there, it is excited. I'm that kid from when I was 10 again. You know, I'm like, this is new. I don't know how to do it yet. Like, right. Then I'm excited again. Okay,
so it's just a little play park for snowboarders in a sense.
Yeah, you can get hurt easily in it, but
Okay, but again, it's the danger. There's like some bit of that danger. Does that manifest itself like often in your life where there's like something dangerous that you're trying to do? Or is it just snowboarding?
I don't...
Or are you trying to get away from the dangerous stuff because you're setting up an adult life for yourself?
Yeah, more of that. I'm trying to get away from like the bad habits and the bad things from my past. I'm trying to move on, you know?
Mm-hmm. I do know.
And shit starts getting real, you know?
Wait, how so? Like, what do you mean?
Just life. You get older, you know? There's more responsibilities you have to take care of, and it's like, I don't want to think about anything dangerous, anything, you know, impacting me badly right now.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, you definitely don't. Yeah, it's so funny because that is truly like one of the main differences between being an adult and being like a young person is when you're young, there's just most of the time for most people, not all, because there's some young kids that just have it. But there's no foresight really. Mm-hmm. Like you're not worried about the future at all. You're just not. Mm-mm. Like time has to slow you down. Like it really does. I think about that because I'm in an interesting spot. I'm 32, so I'm in an interesting spot where like I'm young, but I'm not to the point where there's more time behind me than ahead of me. Right? Like if all things go well. But I'm getting to a point where you start to look around more and just observe more and things like that. And you have more foresight. And you also have enough time here where you can look in the past for wisdom. Like, oh shit, I remember when I fucked up there. Let me not do that again. Mm-hmm. You know, like now you have that. Yeah. So it's an interesting spot to be in. But yeah, that's just the main point is you just keep getting older and realize how reckless you were in the past and be like, wow, I really just didn't give a shit, huh? Like I really didn't take like pros and cons into situations. Yeah. Like I was really just like, I want to do this thing. Yeah. Boom, I'm going to go do it. No, yeah. And that's it. That's all. That's as far as the conversation goes.
Yeah. No. There's some shit I look at like years ago and I'm like, why did I do that? Financially. I'm like, why did I put all my money into that? Why didn't I save it? Like, looking back, I'm sometimes disappointed.
Oh, yeah. That's one of those games you don't want to play. No, but the thing is, no one wants to play that game. Mm-hmm. No one where we've grown up right? The people that we've been seeing that weren't that. I'm not talking about people that like came from nothing. I'm talking about people that had a pretty decent life. Usually they had resources, they had money. That's most of what we've seen. And so, or I guess I've seen, I shouldn't speak for you, but I'm assuming just where you've lived and just being here in America, most of the time you see people that have and not people that don't have.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a very stark difference between having stuff and not having stuff. Like, it's a very, very different experience to have. It's a very visceral experience to have if you've ever not had anything. But for us that have had and been able to observe a bunch of friends and family that have had, the way in which we use our money, if you really, really wanted to get into it, is asinine. I mean, it's crazy. We could all play the game of how much of X, Y, and Z have we purchased in the last 5 years that we did not need any of those times. How much money would that have been accrued? Like, whether it's Chick-fil-A or it's shoes or it's whatever the fuck it is that you buy as a human that you didn't need, but you like kept buying it. Maybe you just go out and you like drink every time you go out, knowing that the drinks when you go out are like the mark, like the sales are marked up fucking 10% or some shit like that. So you're paying $25 for a glass of champagne when you can get a whole bottle at Target for $12. You know what I mean? And you do that over and over and over again. I know someone that has a storage unit, and like my dad and I were doing the math because it's a family member. They have a storage unit that they've had for like 20, fucking 30 years, something like that. And they just store stuff in there. They never go in there and get stuff out to use it because it's simply storage. It might even be like a little apocalypse storage unit where it's like, if shit goes down, I have all this stuff in here, meaning I got like gasoline and peanuts, and it's like it's a weird family member of mine. Right? So it's just like a bunch of weird stuff in this storage unit somewhere. But the point is that this storage unit is like, because it's a big one, there's a bunch of stuff in there, it's like $200 or something a month. It's something wild. But we're talking about over like 30 years.
Oh, it adds up.
You know what I mean? That shit adds up. And so when you think about stuff like that, along with all this other stuff, people could be millionaires. Some people, depending upon how old they were and how much they were, if you say, oh, if I had saved every one of those pennies, so many more people would be millionaires. But, you know, also, is that what you want to do? Do you want to spend no money? Do you want to just save it?
No. Me personally, no. I mean, money's replenishable. Like, memories aren't, you know? That's my motto. Like, I want to save my money, but you should experience things. Like, spend the money, go to Hawaii, experience that hike, you know? Like,
facts.
Don't shelter yourself just because you don't want to spend, you know, a few $100, you know?
Yeah. I mean, all well within your means. Don't, if you don't got it like that, don't go spend it. Don't end up on the side of the road. But, you know, but also just balancing things. That's what's really difficult. And it's so funny because it's taken me a very, very long time in life to even say that I feel like I'm actually getting my sea legs when it comes to balancing. Because that was very, very difficult for me before. I used to just say, I'm either doing this thing or I'm not doing it. Like, there wasn't much in between for me. Like, I had to pick an extreme and, like, go with it. So, I think it just takes some balance. Like, get out there and do some things, but don't spend all your fucking money. You know? Realize, like, what your ambitions are and what sort of money that takes. And, what sort of saving that's going to take, and maybe you do need to get investing in some stocks and some stuff like that, or maybe you need to look into, I don't know, some of these, there are all sorts of different like bonds. Who knows? The financial advisor would be a good one. Financial advisor would be a good one. There's so many ways. My friend, he's been getting into marketing recently, and he's very taken by. Now it's funny because again, this is what I love about humans is what he's interested in. I'm not fucking interested in. We have some clearly converging like interests, but there's some stuff that I just don't care to read about. He loves reading about economy. He loves it. He loves knowing all the things that make other things happen or fall, rise, explode, bubbles popping. Like he loves understanding the way that civilization moves. Yeah, it's just not.
It's not.
It doesn't call to me. It doesn't call to me to give like a lot of my time to. It definitely would help. It would help to know everything in the world. But we're humans and we don't have that type of time to know everything. Yeah. So, I talk to him and I kind of listen to him and listen to his love for just knowing how dollars work and how you can move this from here and, invest in this. And he's done amazing investments. And he's like growing farms back in Africa and his like home village and stuff like that.
Really?
And, he's got like big plans to bring jobs back to Africa where he's from. And, he's some people they're just better with understanding money and like moving money and saving money. I remember most people are not like him in that he would be like, dude, I could quit my job right now and I wouldn't have to work for a year. Like I'd be just fine with just the money that I have. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I think that he's a little bit more on the hermit side of things. So he spends a lot more time in his house than maybe you would want to. Maybe, you would want to take a couple of those vacations. You know what I mean? But just some people do really, really well with saving. My friend Mikey calls it, he says he was able to find out that he could save aggressively. That's how he put it.
Really?
Yeah, like he'd be like, you just have to stop looking at this large picture like it's too much to do. He was like, just think about how much money you need today. Like, how much money do you think that you need to spend today? Like, actually, really, how much money do you think you need? Like, roughly what your day looks like. Do you have to put gas in your car? Do you need food? Should you be going grocery shopping to get that food?
Yeah.
Or are you about to just go buy a $25 burger somewhere and have one meal for $25? Like how much money do you need today? Yeah. Okay, cool. Does your tomorrow look roughly the same? Okay, so you need roughly the same amount of money tomorrow. Probably not that much. Seeing as how you're going to have to spend 8 hours of your day at work. You're going to spend 8 hours sleeping, roughly maybe people 6 to 8 hours sleeping, doing some other things. But for the most part, spending money shouldn't be like a huge part of your day. Yeah. Okay, we'll do that a few more times. Now you have a week. So how much money do you need for a week? Yeah. Okay, have that money accessible to you. The other money that maybe comes in through income or whatever, put some to the side. Make a some arbitrary but also reasonable percentage that you're getting from a check, or just maybe you want to put something from your checkings or your savings weekly. Yeah. Just put that away. 5%, 2%, 10%, whatever you feel like is safe for you, put that away. Boom. Okay, 1 week is over. Next week, just keep doing the same thing. Just break it down into days, and then into your week, and then into your weeks and month, and then boom, now you're saving money.
I get it. I do that.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. So some people are just really, really good at breaking those building blocks down into fundamentals that they can understand and actually do something with. Yeah. Some people are roughly just kind of... Some people are just really bad at grasping certain things like time. Do you ever deal with someone that's just always late? Like, constantly late? Like, they just...
Yes.
Yeah, like, they just can't seem to get a grasp on time. Like, to just... Like it just doesn't make sense to them.
Yeah, no, it's frustrating. I know someone.
Yeah, but it's interesting though. It's frustrating, but it's also interesting. Like you don't understand how much time you need to like get up.
Yeah.
And to wash your face and put clothes on and leave and be at the place on time. Like you don't know this on GPS. Like why don't you know this? But like they just don't seem to grasp it.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating. It doesn't come for everyone, and the managing money is a deep one. That's why that needs to be like a core educational practice in like like middle school, high school.
It should. I think it also has to do with like the respect you have for yourself as well. Like I could easily blow my whole paycheck in a week, but I have that respect for myself. I know like this is what I want in 10 years. This is my goal. Don't go on that shopping spree. Save your money, you know?
What would you be shopping for? Like what's your guilty pleasure for shopping when you do that retail therapy I hear so much about?
Oh, Lord. Just clothes.
Yeah?
Going to the mall, just blowing all my money on that. Like a bigger thing, I wanted to buy a new truck here in a few months. But I was like, you know what? No, I gotta like I'm super big on like my assets and just like passive income, and I want to get passive income over that truck. So that's why I'm now like save money for the house.
Okay.
So
you're looking for some things that accrue with interest or that accrue with time, like the value. Yeah.
I'm just scared of going in debt. I feel like everyone's scared of becoming poor, like not feeling stable. I am scary.
Yeah, I mean it's not that kind of goes hand in hand with my talk earlier about people stretching and how people are fucking dickheads and assholes because they don't stretch. This is another one of those things, and it's completely reasonable. Is the anxiety and that comes with the burden of uncertainty. Yeah. Right? Like for security for you and maybe your loved ones, children, whatever, like you want to feel like good. You want to feel good, like everyone's good. No one's going to take the house from us. No, like, you know, no one's going to take the car. Like we're okay. And I feel like if you sort of asked me earlier about like mental versus physical alleviation. And I was saying how both are important. I'm thinking if people had a certain amount of money. Now, I've heard that this magical number is 70,000. I heard that once people get to about 70,000, the bill collectors are pretty much at bay at that point in time. Yeah. And like you can save up, you can make stuff happen. Like 70,000 is a good solid number. Yeah. Where you're out of worry. Yeah. You're out of the worry zone, and so then you can just like chill and focus on things that you like to do, and it's sort of like a freedom. When people talk about financial freedom, I think that's kind of what it is you're talking about, is that fucking weight being lifted off of you. Now, I've felt that on various levels because I'm bringing this back up on here. A couple episodes ago, I had talked about how in the year of 2014, I was working at Tropical Smoothie at the time, and I had easily made like $14,000 that year. Yeah. Woo! This is going to be funny to me for the rest of my life. And that's such a little amount of money. Yeah.
But to you then, it was probably like, oh my God, I'm rich.
Well, no, it really wasn't, because I was off trying to live with a roommate, and I was like my money started dwindling so fast because I saved up enough to like float me for a few months. Yeah. But the money started to dwindle so fast because I'm making like $9.25 an hour blending smoothies and making fajita wraps and shit. Yeah. So clearly when I got out of that, somebody came and started working with me there. And before they got fired, because they were a bad employee, but before they got fired, they were like, Earl, you have a personality for a server. You should come serve with me over at this place called Buffalo Wild Wings. So then they took me over to Buffalo Wild Wings, and that's when I started making server money, which was a stark difference between blending smoothie money. So then I started serving, and even though it was just wings and beer, I was making so much more money. So then I felt a bit of that. I felt a bit of that, like, I don't have to worry as much as I was before. Like, I have more room to, like, you feel like you can breathe more. Yeah. You're like, oh, wow. Like, this is really nice. Like that worry just isn't as heavy. And then I move from there to the current place, and then I start making more money and then more money. And you're like, oh, wow. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Whew, like I can really feel like, okay, now I can focus on some more things that I want to do. And I feel like I'm in a better headspace to worry about other mental and emotional things I have going on. I think that if people were in a better financial spot for the most part, and they weren't worried about the bills and all this, was like, you would generally be interacting with pleasant human beings.
Yeah.
I think most of it is there's a bunch of built up tension in their muscles and shit, and they have a bunch of worries going on in their mind. And a lot of that has to do with the uncertainty of next month. For some people, shit, next week. Like, I just don't know what's going to happen. So I completely understand what you're saying about just not wanting that, just even as a possibility. But the fact that you even, like, I don't want to go into debt. Like, the fact that like that specifically is on your mind, like, I don't want to go into debt.
Yeah.
Have you seen that happen, and have you seen it play out for anyone? Because I'm trying to figure out why exactly. Like,
yes, I did.
Okay.
I had a best friend.
Okay.
Who I watched. We both watched it, and it was scary. It was like
you and your best friend watched it happen to your best friend.
Yeah,
but you're
her
like,
family.
Oh.
And I was, it's like you compare your life to someone else's, and you have to kind of figure out what you want. And I was like, I don't want that. That scares me.
Yeah. Was it like, I'm assuming, a very hard, like, difficult time for her? Like, could you see?
She was young. We were both young.
Okay.
But, it got so bad that, like, they ran out of the country.
Oh.
And they're in another country now.
Oh, wow.
It was bad. So, I was like, I don't want that to be me.
Have you spoken to her?
Oh, yeah, we're still best friends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How are they in that country?
You can't run from your problems. That's one thing. That's my motto. You can't run from your problems. No matter where you are. Like, you have to face it. You have to overcome it.
Yikes.
So, yeah, I don't think another country helped.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's really rough. You make, like, a huge move like that, uproot your whole family, go to a different place, and learn, like, a different culture. Mm-hmm. And it's still shitty.
Yep. Same situation.
Especially if it's the same thing too. It's like you were followed by a ghost, like something haunting you. It's like, I left the whole country. I'm in this whole other place, and like it's the same thing.
Yeah.
That's right. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. People forget that they take themselves everywhere they go.
Yeah. No, that's so true. That's so true.
Forget about that shit. Damn, man. That's rough. Either way, I'm glad that you're in the space that you're in, and you're trying to make sure that you don't end up having to flee the country.
Yeah,
and try to
hopefully.
go somewhere else.
Hopefully, I'll be in this country for the rest of my life.
That's really nice, man.
Yeah.
Being a renovator, snowboarding. What else? What else calls to you? What else would you like to do in this lifetime while you're here? Travel, of course.
Travel. Have a farm. I want a farm so badly.
What do you want to harvest?
Like, I want a lot of animals.
Oh, okay.
I want
just
chickens
livestock.
And some cows and a horse and
okay,
all kinds of things.
Do you ride?
I don't.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm not the best, but my best friends ride horses, so I want to do it. I just want to have all that land and just take my horse and go on a ride.
Just ride.
Yep.
Love horses.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Of course. Yeah, I love I was going to say vibey, which was wild that I was going to use that word when I should use sentient beings, animals, dogs, horses, small babies, because these are all things that those three things I just named, they're all not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
Like small children, babies, horses, and dogs are not lying.
Yeah.
So when they feel something about someone, That's what they feel about that thing. So if horses don't fuck with you, they don't want to be around you. I've seen that happen. We have an equispective sort of program where we work. And so they took the team out years ago. And there was this one woman that came out there with us, and we all walked with the same horse. At some point, we were all supposed to go up next to the horse, introduce ourselves, pet the horse, and then like start walking.
Yeah.
And the horse was supposed to just follow you. And for most of the people, the horse just started following. But there was this one lady. The horse didn't give a fuck. That horse was not budging for this lady. And it was the same lady where there was this dog. And I'm not a zoologist. I don't know about dogs. I don't know about anything. But what I will say is that there was a dog out on our terrace with the family. The family's eating, and they have the dog out there. And every time this woman stepped out there to go serve them, the dog would go crazy, like yapping, barking, snapping. And they'd be like, whoa, stop. But then we got curious, like just in the kitchen. We got curious. So we just started sending human beings out there, like, Earl, you go. Hey, you go. So people just start going out there. We easily sent 10 other human beings out there. Yeah. Not a peep from the dog. The dog was so well behaved. But then we're just like, hey, Donna, go back out there.
Yeah.
She walked back.
Really?
Right? They're just, and so I will trust a horse or dog in a small child / baby.
Yeah.
I trust those things. They're pure. They tell you straight up how they feel about stuff. I've seen this happen time and time again. And I just happen to have very cool relationships with horses, dogs, and babies. I'm just saying. Those are real, like, bullshitter detectors. Like, they really, really are. Like, babies, when you try to run up to them, if you try to do too much, like you try to force the fun. Yeah. Like, you want to have fun with the baby. So you're trying to now force the baby to have fun with you. A lot of times babies, they'll just start crying. They don't want you to come to you. There's a certain energy. Sometimes you have to allow the babies to come to you. Yeah. Same thing with like people's dogs. Like, I don't just, if I walk into someone's house, they have a dog or something. I'm not just running up to the dog and just, I'm going to allow the dog to get acquainted with me. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, they're just like these ways of doing things, man. Yeah. You just, yeah, but horses, I used to ride when I was a child. I used to go to a place called Camp Bernie in New Jersey. And we would go every summer, and we'd go for like 2 or 3 weeks, my brother and I. And I learned how to do archery there. My brother did riflery there. Clearly tons of sociability work because we were away from our parents. So you're just amongst a bunch of kids away from parents for 3 weeks at a time. Yeah. So I think that helped my communication skills a lot, like sociability skills. Learned how to swim well there. Okay. Learned how to do like a ton of stuff there. Yeah. But horse riding was one of them that I loved so much. Yeah. Yeah.
It's therapeutic.
It is. It is therapeutic. It's beautiful. And then as I started going to polo matches last year. Yeah. That's most sports you're just, you're dribbling a basketball, you're hitting the ball with a racket or something like that. But to have another teammate in your sport, and that teammate is an animal, and you and that teammate animal have to be on the same accord. Like, that animal has to know what you're telling it, if your body moves over to the left a little bit, or like if it feels you tense up, the horse. That's one thing that like Bella really taught me that was like kind of blew my mind, is because she rides. Yeah. And she's like, if you even start to think you're about to tense up, the horse already knows it. Like, if you even start to think negative thoughts, or you get self-doubt about a jump you're about to take or a turn you're about to make or something, the horse knows in advance as soon as you start to. It's so weird. Like, the sense that these animals have to like just be able to know, like, you can't ride me right now. Like, don't tell me to jump that thing. You don't even think that we can jump this thing. Like, the horse is smart as hell. So I think that would be awesome. Okay, so I completely understand having livestock, having horses that you want to just ride through acres and acres of land. I've never been like a farm hand, so I wouldn't know how to, how to tend to chickens or cows or any of that stuff. I assume that would you be eating these cows, or would you just? Do you eat beef?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So you do eat. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It depends. Do you know what a Highland cow is?
No.
It's just a cow, and it's a different type of cow, and it has long fur.
Okay.
And they're just super cute. So I'd want a few of those just for fun.
Okay.
But I
just for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I probably would have some to produce meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. There's just something. My friend works for the guy that I started doing this podcast with. His name is Keon. He works for a company called Chapel Hills Farm. Actually, by the way, we get a ton of their beef.
Okay.
In Middleburg. And their beef, the cow is called Randall Lineback. Mm-hmm. And it's one of the last remaining, families of cow that haven't been completely fucked with. Like, that just eat grass and just roam and live a happy life until they're killed.
Yeah.
And they're not being fed shit like candy and candy wrappers. I've read about this, like, just for the same reason that, it fattens humans up, and in the same way it fattens cows up too. So they just a lot of cows are fed candy with all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
But the point I'm getting at is, when you cook this meat, it's a completely different. And what's crazy is when you elevate in life, it doesn't matter what it is. If you elevate any aspect of your life, you don't really want to go backwards. Mm-hmm. And you find yourself slowly but surely becoming a snob.
Yeah.
He is able to garner so much meat from this place that they're going to throw away. Maybe the label was packaged. It was like packaged incorrectly. The wrong label was put there, whatever the case is. So there's so much meat that employees take for themselves and for friends. And he has brought so much to me. So many different types of sausages and ribeyes and T-bones and, New York strips and bavette steaks. And it's just, the list goes on and on. Duck breast prosciutto, all different sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
When you taste this beef, you just, even when you're just patting it and you're tenderizing it and you're seasoning it, you just realize this does not feel like the meat. It doesn't look like the meat that I get from the supermarket.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. So I would understand wanting to be self-sustainable in that way, where you have your eggs would be awesome. Eggs are great protein, great energy source. I would love to be able to just go outside and pick eggs. That would pick up eggs. That would be fucking, who doesn't pick up eggs? Pick them off a vine. That would be awesome. Having a garden, fruits and vegetables. I love the idea of people being self-sustainable. Yeah, like having everything there, a generator, like you said, wood stove.
Yeah.
Yes, having a wood stove, that's always very nice. All that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Fishing, cutting logs. Yeah, I think there's something deep to that that's like really calming and beautiful. And again, self-sustainable. You know where the shit comes from.
Yeah.
You know like what process it went through to get to you.
Yeah.
That's always nice too. Mm-hmm. Especially if you're like a health nut at all. Like, you want to be healthy to some degree, and you don't want to just eat like a ton of whatever the fuck comes to, your house from Walmart.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
No,
like
I get it.
Like, you grew up on a farm, so you've
not
had...
a farm. No, I haven't grown up on a farm.
Oh.
But I want to.
Oh, you just want all these things. It's not like something you... Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, we're just on land. Yeah.
Yeah. I want I think it would be really cool to have an experience of all these. A city home would be nice.
Yeah.
A mountain home would be nice. A home in another country that is, when you talk about the sky and the stars and you say it's slow, it's slow is a great way. It's a great way to put it. It's slow. Because there's clearly something nice about slowing down.
Yeah.
That's, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm thinking about the different homes that I would create, and you know that city life that a lot of people really feel extremely drawn to because of the hustle and bustle, and maybe you like to shop, so there's no shortage of that whatsoever, and you love concerts, and what the fuck else happens in big cities? Parties, club life. I don't really want any. Even when it comes to the vacations, I like to go to places, even if it's a tourist place, on the off season.
Yeah.
When it's not like I'm not going to Maui in the middle of July, right? Or I'm not going to like the big island in the middle of July, where it's just going to be Disneyland all fucking week, where just millions of people are running through. Yeah. Like, I like to do things, but do them just like at arm's length of huge crowds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I still like there to be some semblance of isolation if need be. So, like, city, not so much. Mountain, I could definitely do the mountain. I could definitely do I definitely understand the land part.
Yeah.
All the animals, the dogs. I didn't grow up with pets.
Really?
So I don't know the love.
Yeah.
I don't.
Interesting.
Yeah, I do. Have you not met people that didn't grow up with pets, or?
No, not really.
Not really.
Most people I know had cats or dogs, yeah. But I'm also, like, in the country. So,
yeah. Oh, yeah, so everyone would have.
Everyone has something,
Yeah, no. Yeah, I never got that.
Yeah.
So I don't understand that love. But I could. There's something romantic about that scene, though, of just like having a country house with a bunch of land and 2 dogs.
Yeah.
And whatever else that you want out there, your chickens and your cows and all that sort of stuff. Okay. All right. Yeah, that sounds like a solid plan. I like where you're headed.
Thank you.
I like where you're headed in life. Yeah, this is a solid plan. This was nice. All right, so what else do you have as far as hobbies or loves? Is there music involved in life at all? Is there film involved in life at all? Is there any sort of artistic outlet involved in life at all? How about this? What was the last thing you did that like excited you? Where you feel like, oh, this was a nice, breath of fresh air?
Hiking.
Where?
I love hiking. I went to Harper's Ferry.
Hey, yes, I went there too recently. That's a cute little town.
It's cute. Yeah, it's right near my house, honestly.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
30 minutes away.
Yeah.
But it's so nice. I love hiking.
What do you like about it?
I just like the journey, like I went, oh God, maybe like 2 months ago with a friend, and I was like really upset over my ex-boyfriend. We had just like kind of broken up again, whatever. And I told my friend, I was like, listen, Kayla, we're going on this hike. We're gonna finish this hike. At the very end, you get to like the cliff and the overlook of Harper's Ferry.
Yeah.
And I was like, we're doing this. Like, it wasn't just a hike to me. It was an experience, Yep, thank you.
Yes.
Like,
and it was especially because it's tied to this narrative about, clearly trying to clear your head a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I knew getting to the cliff was me reaching that goal, And I mean, it was an hour and a half hike one way.
Right.
And I mean, she's every 20 minutes, let's just stop, let's just go back. And I was like, we are not stopping now. Like, we're 45 minutes into this hike. We're getting there. Like, I'm accomplishing this. I'm in a badass mood right now. Like, I need to get there to show myself that I did it, you know? And that's what I like about hiking, honestly.
Yeah. There is something nice about it, because there is talking that happens on it. Hiking it's an interesting experience to do with other people, because there's going to be time for talking. There's not a bunch of cellular device interaction and interruption and distraction. But then there are also just going to be these long, especially if the hike's long enough, there are going to be these long intervals of silence where you're just hiking, and it's just the birds, and it's just
peaceful.
the crisp leaves and twigs snapping underneath your boots and stuff like that. And your own thinking, right? Because clearly you were going through some shit, and you were trying to get over something, and you felt like that helped. Like you could feel that it actually helped.
Absolutely. Like, after that hike, I'm still sad, but I was like, at least I did it. Like, I respected myself enough to finish that hike, do the 3 hours, you know, go through the pain. Like,
do you feel like you have also, in the journey of that relationship, and I mean, I don't know, how long was it that you all were together, if you don't mind me asking?
A year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so within that year and a half to now, within that journey, right? Because I'm looking at that sort of similarly to the hike. Within that journey, did you feel like there was a summit? And I don't necessarily mean within you all's actual relationship, like just a great moment for you two, but I just mean, was there a lesson or something being able to be taken advantage of afterwards, where you feel like, okay, I went through that journey and I got out on the other side. You're still kind of a little broken up about it? Does it still kind of pull at your heartstrings a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
But can you look back and see any one thing where you feel like you really learned something from everything that you went through? Yeah.
A major thing I learned, it was the last time we talked, which was a few months ago. Him and I were on and off for a while, and I never really respected his thoughts in the relationship. And once we finally ended it, it's because he lost all contact with me. He was like, I don't want to be with you anymore. I'm over you. And that just struck me. I was like, I just lost something that I so dearly wanted and loved. And it made me realize, why is it now that I'm realizing that I loved him so much, and that why am I realizing now that I should have tried harder? I should have listened to what he said. And it made me realize that when you do lose something you really love, you realize kind of how much you love that person, because you lost them, you know? You breaking up and getting back together a week later, it doesn't show you anything. You know, you don't learn, oh, I fucked up. I need to learn from that. So my biggest takeaway from that is that when I do get in my next relationship, I need to understand my partner better. I need to respect how they feel. At times, I'm very stubborn. I don't listen to other people. But I have to listen to them. If they're not okay with me talking to so-and-so, I need to take that in, evaluate it, like make sure their thoughts are thought about, you know? So that's one big thing.
What state do you get in where like the stubbornness takes over, where like you don't want to, what sort of set of circumstances do you find yourself in where the stubbornness takes over and you don't want to listen to anyone? Like what has to happen for that?
Like, let's say for instance, so basically what happened was, do you have Snapchat, the app? So I was Snapchatting, I have other male friends, and he was always upset about that, never liked it. And I was always stubborn, like, you're just insecure, you're just like, he was like, guys can't be your friends. I was like, you're just insecure, like, blah, 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 you're just toxic. But I realized that was me being stubborn. I need to see how his side of the story, you know? Because if tables were turned, I might not have been okay with that, you know?
Yeah.
But I let my thoughts, like, nah, he's wrong. I'm right. I'm always right. Get ahead of me. And then I'm like, oh shit, months later. So.
Oh shit, months later. Oh man, we're breaking up.
Yeah.
Fuck. Fuck, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Man, I love life. Yeah, I do. I love it for that, man. It teaches us. It teaches us. It humbles us. Again, one must be humble underneath the stars.
I was so humbled. Yeah, I've become humbled. It's such a empowering thing, though, to be finally humbled, you know? I'm so glad it happened to me. Like,
yeah. It makes you reevaluate yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
That shit is so necessary. It's so necessary because when you're alone, there's no one telling you what to do. There's no one, like, none of your actions are contingent upon, you know, what might be going on with someone else. Like, you're just doing your thing. So then when you're with someone, you're like, okay, now we're a unit. Yeah. Like, we're working as a team towards some common goal. First of all, we have to figure out what the fuck that common goal is, or else we're just a team with no aim. You know, and then we have to figure out what our individual roles in that unit are towards achieving that aim or that objective. Yeah. Right. And how we play off of each other in order to make sure that that thing gets done and we support each other. So it's, so if there's no humility in that, if there's no humility on each side, then it's not going to happen, because you're not going to give the space for the other person to shine where they ought to. Yeah. Maybe you're being a little overbearing, you know, and stepping on toes when you shouldn't be. I also liken it to dancing, like dancing with someone. Like, you know, you gotta know when to fall back and be the follow, or when to be the lead, and you know, all that sort of stuff. But okay, so that's what's going on with that. Well, that's good. I'm glad that you came out of that with something. With some sort of learning, and it's not just like, well, you know what? Fuck that guy. He was a dumb, vulnerable piece of shit. You know what I mean?
No, I hate people like that. You have. Everything happens for a reason. Lessons are to be learned with everything, you know? Like, yeah, there's times where I'm like, he's a fucking bitch, I hate him, but I'm like, I look at myself, it takes two to make a good couple.
Yeah, that's a fact. So. That's a fact. No, just good learning lesson. That's all it is. Yeah. It's just a good lesson. You'll look back at that and just be super, super proud of yourself for at least being able to detect that there was something about you that could be changed. Yeah. And it just wasn't everyone else. But that's a bit of that renovation brain in you. Yeah, fixing like things. Well, yeah, like what can I do to make this better, as opposed to let me just complain about this shit until I go to sleep at night. Yeah. Yeah, because that doesn't usually fix much of anything. No. Okay, cool. So what does that look like for you in the future, as far as when you say like what they're, so do you have more of a desire to want to listen to people in general? Like, do you feel like maybe you were missing that element when you were just listening to people in general, like taking people's thoughts seriously was just not so much a thing? Or was it just this particular human being that you were not taking seriously?
I think it's just so broad. I used to hate having people teach me lessons. I always thought I need to teach myself that. I get to tell myself what to do. I never liked other people being like, you're doing this wrong, blah, blah, blah. So now, going in the future, like, now I'm like, I totally understand where he came from. Like, I should have listened, but the thing is, I wanted to find that out myself. I wanted to find out that all my guy friends wanted to just fuck myself and not by you telling me, because then I think that's toxic. So now I'm like, I need people to teach me lessons, you know, not only just myself learning the hard way. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah, there's a interesting balance and everything, right? Yeah. There's this interesting balance where I feel like in a relationship, you're clearly, hopefully, if you can be honest with anyone, it can be that person. Yeah. Hopefully that's the relationship you have. Like, if there's anyone on the planet, hopefully it's your significant other. Yeah. Right? Hopefully they're not your insignificant other. And through those conversations, the longer you all talk and the more honest you get and the more you learn about each other, you'll want to point certain things out to them and be like, hey, listen, babe, like, you're not doing this thing very well. Like,
Yeah.
you really need to shape up on this thing. Or like, I think I can help you with this, or I think it'd be better if you did that. But, it all comes with the delivery too. You can't just be like, you fucking suck. You need to get better at this. You need to pick up, or you need to pull your own weight. Like, you can't come at them that way. But if you come at them with love and compassion and some logic, like what you're saying actually makes some fucking sense.
Yeah.
Then that's a loving way of pushing forward. And then there's this whole other side where I think allowance is underrated. And allowance meaning allowing and expecting the other person to also just be a human being. Meaning they're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
They're going to fuck up. They're going to say some things they didn't mean. They're going to do some things they shouldn't have done. And there has to be allowance for that. Now you have to figure out exactly how much space you're going to allot for that allowance, but there has to be allowance for you to be like, yo, listen, I don't think that what you're talking about makes sense, because here's the kicker. Maybe he was insecure. Like what you're saying didn't have to be 100% wrong, right? Like there could have been a large piece of him that was insecure, because a more secure person could have said something to you like, well, listen, I'm completely fine with you snapping and hanging out with other dudes. That actually doesn't matter to me at all. If they're your friends, they're your friends. I trust you to know you and to be able to cross whatever bridge that you need to cross when you get to it.
Yeah.
So if any reason one of your guy friends did want to have sex with you and he made that available to you, that information, then in that point in time, you could say, yeah, friend, I'll have sex with you. Or no, friend, I'm not going to have sex with you. I'm actually going to go home to my boyfriend now. Right? So what I'm saying is your boyfriend could have just known, well, the way that things go, there's going to have to be a time where one of them tells you that they are interested. Because if they never tell you that they're interested in having sex, then it's never really even a problem.
Yeah.
If they just stay in their lane and they find you attractive, but they just remain a friend and they stay doing that thing, then it's not even really a problem. It's just in the back of their minds to be like, man, if Jordyn would, I definitely would have sex with her. But we're friends and I know that, so I'm in the friend zone doing friend zone shit.
Yeah.
So if any of them ever divulge the information, I would like to take this further, then you could just simply be like, well, no, I don't want to do that. So it's not. So that was what someone that was more secure probably would have said to you. Yeah. So what I'm saying to you is that there is insecurity in that person. I'm not trying to put that person down at all, but there is, like, the fact of the matter is that he was insecure.
Oh, yeah.
So you weren't lying. And also, maybe there was something that you could have done to help him feel a bit more secure. Yeah. Now, whether you feel like that's your job or not is a whole other discussion, but yeah, it probably could have been something to do to aid his level of insecurity.
Yeah.
And
I didn't do that.
Right.
Because I was stubborn,
Yeah. So that's more so what it was. Because you probably could have continued to hang out with his friends or whatever, and he'd be fine if you had done something and shown good faith that you weren't just like, man, fuck you, I'm going to hang out with fucking Tim and Jim. Like, you know what I mean? He's like, I'm for Tim and Jim just want to have sex with you. I don't care. Like, shut up. Like, you know what I mean? It's nice to now know that information. So going forward with whatever you decide to do in the future. But then it'll be fun. Do you like dating though? Are you?
Yeah, I love dating.
Okay. See. Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to you. That I never hear that answer.
I am so against nowadays hookup culture. I hate it. I feel like nowadays you can't even find relationships because people don't want it. They just literally want hookups. So I'm like, at this point, I'm not talking to anybody. I'm doing my own thing. That's where I'm at.
It's an interesting world out there when it comes to dating. Dating is the wild fucking west, especially these days with all the technology involved in it, and people. All the different filters. People can just be whole different human beings. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. It's so... I had a friend. that told me, this is a woman.
Yeah.
That told me that she had sex with a guy and that, so she, I should know her age, but I don't. I'm just going to say she's 32 as well.
Yeah.
I think she's, yeah. And I think the guy was in his mid 20s. And she said that having sex with him was like watching someone get bored of like a porn scene and like keep skipping ahead to see something new or click on different videos.
Yeah.
Like that's what she was attributing to him. Yeah. Like that there was some porn mind that he had where you have so much access to porn that you just like click from video to video because you get so distracted and so bored with what it is you're watching that you just want the next thing and then the next thing and the next thing. And so I bring that up because it was interesting that she remarked on that she felt like he was constantly trying to do something else in bed. Yeah. Like there was never any fluid thread between positions and things like that. Like it was just like this thing, then this thing, then this thing. Like she felt like he was getting bored with positions and trying to like skip to the next scene. Mm-hmm. And her saying that, I was like, whoa, that's fucking weird to feel that whilst being intimate with someone in the bedroom. That's a very wild thing. But I think a lot of the reason that the dating world is the wild, wild west, as I called it, and it's so weird is because there's so much access and people are so bored so fast and they just want to move on to the next thing or see the next thing. And there are all these shiny silver spoons around that just boom, boom, boom. What's that? What's that? What's that? What's that? What's that? Because all they do is like scroll all day long anyway. So again, everything that they do is just like quick and on to the next thing, quick and on to the next thing. Yeah. And so that dating world, it's I mean, it's the first time it's ever been like this in human history. Yeah. It's the first time.
It wasn't like that in our parents' time.
No one could ever just get on their phone. Like phones are just in our lifetime. Yeah. Like the phones back in the day, you could never have the access to just swipe and be like, oh, I like you. No, don't like you. Yeah, I like you. Yeah, let's meet tonight. Like, it didn't happen like that. You married Susan Lou from down the street that knew your parents because you guys used to have like play dates when you were a child, and that's what it used to be when like our parents and their parents were growing up. Now we just have access to so much. Getting out there would be interesting. I think that having the right attitude towards dating helps a lot. Like having the right attitude going into anything helps a lot. So if you're going into dating, I think knowing that you're not about to just find your soulmate, swipe number one is one thing. Just not expecting to make the very next person you go on a date with your boyfriend or your girlfriend or wife or husband. Like forget about that. Just try to have fun. It's that balance though. Try to have fun. Try to be safe and like really vet the people that you're going on dates with. Yeah. Right, as best you can. If you're on the apps, I would definitely say, especially if you're a woman, to have text messages, phone calls, and I know a lot of people don't want to do this, but I would say FaceTime or some type of video chat before going on dates with people. I would definitely recommend that. So you can really get the vibe of the person, because so many people are like, he was so witty and charming in his text messages. I don't know what happened. He was so dry when I met him. Text message? What do you mean? He had 30 minutes to compose that text message. Yeah. Of course it was witty and funny. Yep. What are you talking about? He could have ran that text message through a text message generator on Google or some shit like that. Who the fuck knows? Like you have to talk to that person. Yeah. You need to hear that person's voice, or you need to see that person's face and have like a real fucking discussion with them before you go out on a date with them. Yeah. But yeah, I think it can be a whole lot of fun. I know when I was out on the apps just dating, I thought I had a ball, but I had the right mindset about it. I knew what I was going into. Yeah. And, I was just like open to whatever. It's like, okay, maybe I just find a new friend. Yeah. Yeah. Like maybe Like, we just go out and have a couple cool times. Maybe it ends up being friends with benefits. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's this or that. But I think you have to just be open to
anything.
Yeah, you just kind of got to let it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. No, never rush into anything. That does not get you anything.
No, I mean, it gets you into a rush situation.
Yeah. Oh, I get it.
That's all. All right, so right now you're just trying to reassess, decompress, realign, get yourself together, make your money, get your land, your cows, chickens, dogs, and snowboard.
Yeah.
Did we leave anything else out? You're not trying to. What else? You know, right? Renovate houses.
Yeah.
Fix stuff up. I think we got it. I think we got everything. Is there anything else that we need to talk about? I appreciate you coming over here a lot.
Thank you.
Again,
I think it's fun coming.
I'm so glad that you do. Again, I think that this is a very peculiar art. It's fun because we usually, and I didn't even have to tell you to put your phone away. You just have your phone away. Yeah. So that was nice. But again, immersive headphones, you get like sucked into the pod and you get to have a conversation like you usually, in a set of circumstances you don't usually have, conversations. You just get to chat and like learn about someone, shoot the shit, have some fun, think about the future, think about the past a little bit, learn some things. Hopefully it's an enriching experience altogether.
It's nice. I think communicating with people, it kind of opens your mind more. It expresses like your feelings that you might have submerged, Mm-hmm. That's what I love about talking like with people, Yeah. You can't hold feelings in for too long,
No, it doesn't usually go very well.
No,
that kills that kills people.
Yeah.
It like really does. It gives people heart attacks and shit like that. Like organs start failing, you start stressing and just like suppressing all of any anger or hate or just deep sadness and trauma. You just try to like pile it in.
Yeah.
It's just a lot. It's a lot of tension. That's what I'm talking about. Like that's so much tension in your body, and like it's just too much. But that's why I say it's interesting, because you clearly like came here. You were open to come and doing this, but it was funny because then you had that sort of inverse quality where you do get stubborn and you don't want to listen to certain people. You don't want to have certain conversations. So it would be interesting to see you go from this, the way I've seen you, to get into one of these modes where someone's trying to talk to you and you are not fucking having it. Like you do not want to hear that information. It would be interesting to see the difference between this Jordyn and that Jordyn. Like whatever has to happen. That would be interesting. But, ultimately, I speak highly about my gratitude for anyone that comes here, because as I already remarked on at the very, very beginning, it's a new space. Like podcasting is kind of old, but relatively to all the other technology and different art forms, new space. Mm-hmm. And so for you to come here and do something that, again, you don't normally, I mean, I don't know how often you sit with headphones and talking to microphones in front of people for like 2 hours straight and just sit there and talk. But it's a peculiar thing for other people. And I like to show my gratitude and my awareness that it is a peculiar thing, because I'm on 161. Clap it up for us. This is us. We're at 161. But for you, this is episode 1. Yeah. So I applaud you, and I'm very grateful that you would just come here and do this very peculiar thing with this strange guy from work. You know what I mean? Like that's a very, very cool thing that we were able to come together and do this. And I appreciate that from you. Yeah. And I appreciate your time. Yeah, thank you very much. All right. Are we good? We got everything? Good. All right, Jordyn. Thank you very much for coming to see me. And bye, everybody. Thank you for listening. Episode 161. Woo!
Oh, peace. Wow. Now peace. It's different.
Yes, very